Oh my, oh my, oh my, kai ke mai na mai, oh na mea na ne o na me, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, kai ke mai na mai, oh na.
Waipio Valley is a very sacred place, and I think it's important that we just come and learn and get to know more about the history and the culture and the place here.
So again, if you study the traditions and the nature of our culture, everything to us has a purpose, it has a function, good and bad. Remember we talked about dualism. But an Waipio bird is a messenger. It's like when you see it, there's something coming up. So for her, when they saw the Waipio bird flying over, it was a sign of an omen that they couldn't be together, because it was kind of like one bad luck sign. So crying, they cannot be together, and they loved each other so much that they said they cannot be together in life, then they will be together in death. So he loved it, jumped off the falls and became the waterfall. And Kale jumped off, Wahakalawa. He jumped, became the big rock that is on the bottom of the waterfall. This valley in its heyday could feed thousands of people. But now we cannot keep up with the demand of today's population. Most of the taro is imported from other places. Before, this was a self-sustaining ahupua'a. People didn't have to go out of the valley to survive. So when they had the tidal wave in 1946, most of the residents that lived here decided to move out. They've never experienced something like that, and they didn't want to live here. So the different valleys going across from here to Kohala was also inhabited. This was the town. They had schools, churches, stores, jails. My grandpa played on one of the 3 softball, baseball teams. So you can only kind of imagine. This is a full thriving community. The Hawaiians used to live here. They lived over here up along the banks because the more fertile grounds, the land was reserved for farming. So they didn't live next to the streams and things like that. They had small little houses, you know, for protection, shelter, you know, storing things. But they basically lived more like at the bases of the cliffs. So this particular area is called Napopo, and means many heads. And of course, in the caves along the walls, that's where a lot of our ancestors also lived. My mom actually was born here, and she was raised here. And then they had like a huge flood, kind of washed away their house. So my grandpa actually moved her, you know, to the first pullout. You know, when you folks first came down and had the junction, and you walked a little further, and there was like a little spot that you could stand on the side. That is where a lot of the Karo farmers, when they used to farm and gather all of their crops, they would actually load it there on pallets. And then the poi factories, they used to send their trucks or their their mule train, and they used to load up all of the Karo bags there, and then they would take it up to the top to be ground and made into poi in Hilo. So can you imagine, like, coming from Waipio and going all the way to Hilo to actually be made into poi? Piko, they also refer that as your center. We all have 3 picos that connects us. Okay? This pico up here is the connection you have to your ancestors, to your akuas, to your gods, to your family gods, to everybody who went before you. This is your connection. As much as possible, we do not cut this connection off or interrupt it or distract it. You want this to stay connected, right? So even me touching you on the head, this is like a respectful place. You have kupuna from other indigenous countries. Feel very threatened or very offended when you touch them on the head, because this is a very sacred place. You guys understand? In Hawaiian, it is proper protocol, according to tradition. When you go to somebody's place, you always ask permission and you wait for them to answer you and tell you it's okay to come in. If they tell you no come, you know, they don't answer you, you better still ask. If they never answer you, then I guess you going. So we will do the chant 3 times, and then we will ask, we will wait for the valley to answer us. So we will look for signs. Okay? Up to you, everybody get different signs that they're gonna be looking for. You might see a eel flying around, it might be the wind blowing on you, it might be something that you heard, something that you felt, and then you So as teachers, sorry, you guys teaching in Hawaii, so you guys gonna have to get used to a lot of the words because those are the kids' names, those are the school names, those are the street names, you know, a lot of those things. So moku is the word for boat, wai is the word for freshwater. So moku wai is the boat, the freshwater boat. If you actually fly over this area, it looks like a boat sitting down between 2 streams. We don't want water. What's happening to the water? How can we get it back? And they learn about how to preserve it and protect it here. Then they could understand how they can make a difference with trying to protect the water that is happening in the United States. You know what I mean? Other bigger issues. But make it more relevant for them. Then they'll become more interested. Plus, a lot of our native kids like working with their hands, like doing stuff. Relevant to the chant, Akaluna. When you guys walk down, you guys kind of have feel like that? And then just looking at the beauty or just experiencing all of these things, the sights, the smells, you know, how does the ground feel, the water is cold. That makes you all excited inside because you're learning all of these things. So it's not like opening a book and just reading about it. Yeah. These things are very, very important because all of our kids we know learn differently. Right? So you as a teacher experiencing this, you need to open yourself to all of that. Not just what you learned, because what you've learned before, you bring that experience with you. Yeah? What you learn in your College of Ed, your teacher education licensing certification program, you bring that with you. But today is a whole different school of learning. You're learning how the kids like to learn. Here in Hawaii, on this island anyway, we're experiencing a drought for at least the past good 2 years. Yeah, and you look around you and say drought, you've seen all this water, but that means we used to have more than what we see right now. On most rainy days, those waterfalls are pumping, and it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But right now, you just see them just trickling out. Yeah, so if you had the privilege of actually being down here and seeing it flowing, you came down on the right day. And those waters are being fed from Waipio. Yeah, so that's our watershed way up there. So when people tell me in Waipio and they're developing all kinds of stuff, whatever we're doing, it has nothing to do with you. I have a lot of things to say because it does, because we're downstream of them. So we are very, very cognizant of the development that happens on this whole island, but especially in this whole corner of our paradise. Know that they're importing food, 85% coming from outside. When you get something like this, how come we cannot feed ourselves? That's our whole different lifestyle because we all dependent on McDonald's.
Waipio, where we are right now. Isn't it incredible?
Hawaii and like the last few native cultures in America are the only ones that are very much grounded in place in a way that I think Americans in general have a really hard time orienting towards.
The same river that I had fish, we still can go pick up the whole eel. Right over here, we just go park on the side and we can go pick up the whole eel and make salad for you to eat. I want that to still exist. So that's why we kind of still do what we do. Yeah? Because again, if we don't take care of it, it's not going to be here for at least 2 more generations. It's gone. It's going to change.